blanket, feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright, echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Hey everyone, joining you tonight, but I wish it was under better circumstances. A mass shooting occurring today. Just in a minute, they're supposed to be releasing some new video. They're sort of waiting on it right now. There's supposed to be a new video coming out. The first video we get of the suspect, and apparently this is supposed to be coming out any minute now. I'm sort of waiting for the update. I'm just trying to see if we can get it right now for you. Hey, it's good to see all of you. Shocking really is. At least 2 people killed. A bunch of people also taken to hospital, including a new victim on the list who apparently wasn't included on the original report because they presented later to the hospital after they noticed they had shrapnel in their body. Like the bullet obviously shattered or rebounded off something, and then they end up having a shrapnel wound. So it's terrible. It really is. You know, we are counting down the days to Christmas, and I feel like every day so far, like we had a stabbing last week in a high school, we had another mass shooting or some sort of campus shooting last week as well, where that guy came onto the campus and shot a bunch of people. And now we have this, and it just never ending. It's like, can we all just have a break? Can we all enjoy the holidays and send everyone home for the holidays? And it seems like the answer is no. The answer is that's not how the world works, and we're gonna keep having people die the closer we get to Christmas. Apparently, it's really really crap. Hey guys, good to see you. Good to be back. And yeah, there's never-ending content for true crime space. You know, I got to tell you, I get tired. I get tired of it, and you know, I love doing true crime. I really do, but it just feels like, do we ever have a single day where nothing goes wrong? Do we ever have a single day where there's not a woman who winds up dead? Do we ever have a single day where there's not a shooting? And it feels like the answer really is no. I reckon even on Christmas, we're going to have something go wrong. Probably something that happens on Christmas Day too. I'm just waiting for this, and what they're saying is new video, and they described it during the press conference as it's some footage of the shooter wearing dark clothing, and I'm just waiting for it to get uploaded. I've got 2 different streams here going, hoping that we can show it to you. It was supposed to be out like 10, 15 minutes ago, but they're having some sort of issue. What that issue is, I don't know, but they're having some sort of problem. Let me check if I can go here. Maybe they're gonna release it quicker. Nope, that's not how we do that. Let me see if I can keep going. Anything here? I'm not seeing any video from anyone as of yet. Like I see the press conference that happened a couple of minutes ago, but that video is still not out. I find that strange. What is going on? Why can they not upload that video? Yeah, I'll bring it to you as soon as it gets on the media. I'll have it for you. Oh, was that it? I just saw something. Ah, we're on the wrong tab. Is it this one? Okay, no, that is something else. All right, when we have it, I'll bring it to you. Hey, good. Hope you're all doing well on this weekend. We only have a couple of weekends left now until Christmas, until we're all getting into the Christmas spirit, and only a few weeks left. What is it? Probably 2 weeks left till we go to the new year, and we're gonna have a New Year show. They did not. They did not. Yeah, the shooter is in the wind, in the wild. Hey Teresa, how are you? We have mass shootings daily. Yeah, it seems so, right? It seems so. Hey Montana, how are you? Hopefully we'll have this for you shortly, because I'd like to see it too. Like I want to see who this person might be, and well, what we can do to air that for you. Where is that other tab? We have too many tabs open, my friends. Let's go here. Yeah, it's very strange. Where is it? So they had someone come on a minute ago saying there was a small delay at getting the information out, this video out, and then that was almost 10 minutes ago now, and they're like, it's only going to be like 1 minute. Well, still no CCTV that they keep telling us is supposed to be coming to everyone. Let me see if I can find another update for it. Nope. Let me just refresh these. Daily Mail people, sometimes they have it. Nope, nothing on their one either. There you go. President of the USA. Maybe he has the video. So far, no. Well, I'll keep an eye on it. How you guys going out there? Not, yeah, like a lot of people commenting right now saying, where is this video that they're supposed to be telling us it's supposed to be out by now? And a lot of comments online, I'm seeing them on social media right now. People are saying, they told us a video was coming. Yeah, that's what they said. They said that there was a video of the suspect. Let's see. Yeah, I'm still not seeing it. When we get it, I'll put it up on the screen for you. But a horrible day for the people in that campus. And you can see, imagine getting this notice right here, saying basically urgent, there's an active shooter, and they're saying lock doors, silence phones, and stay alert, hidden until further notice. I heard people are still locked down in that area, still in there trying to hide and keep safe in there. Keep safe. Guys, give me 1 second. Hey, good to see you. Hey, Linux, how are you? Good to have you here. I think they don't fully know. They know that they caught one person on a surveillance video. And they don't even. So, one of the guys at the press conference was saying, to get into this area, normally you need a key card to swipe to get in. And they're like, well, who is this person and how did they get into the area if they didn't have a key card of some sort to get into a secure area? So I think they were saying, well, if you know how they got in, how do you not know who they are? And they're saying, well, if they got in some other way, why don't you have video of that? So I think there's a little bit of like confusion going on about like how this person got into the location, who are they, that type of thing. Any update? Geez, they're really, really being slow on this update. This press conference happened freaking ages ago. Yeah, what are they saying on this one?
Oh, we have active video. Yeah, from Dan Jadig. His crew at the scene just shot this video. Dan, are you there as well?
Yeah, I'm here, guys. So what I was trying to show you, and we're just going to stick on them, that was a bunch of Brown University students that were walking with police presence, had a heavy armed police presence. So they're trying to get the students out of the.
They're just giving an update saying that on the campus they were escorting a bunch of students off the campus now. So I think there's been a whole bunch of students who have been caught up, basically being told they can't go anywhere for a number of hours, and now they're starting to escort some of them off the campus. I guess they feel safe enough that there hasn't been any action recently, like any kind of gunfire or anything like that. I really wish they would do a better job at getting this. Yeah, it's, again, more people saying the same thing. Where the hell is this video? I don't have the answers for you. I don't. Yeah, I don't have that answer for you. we'll keep waiting. We'll have to keep waiting. All right. Hey, what are you guys up to? Good to see you. Scary. It would be not for us. Scary for the people on the campus, I'm sure. Not so much for us sitting behind a computer screen. We are not scared because it can't hurt us. I think the saddest part of this is there's at least 2 people who won't make it home to their families on this, what is it for you guys? Today's Sunday for me, Saturday night. So Saturday night for you guys in the USA. It's another 2 people who won't make it home. It's another 2 people whose families will have to organize funerals instead of having, like, Christmas lunch in, like, 10 days' time. They will have to instead organize the funeral of their loved one. I mean, I don't think any of us would wish that on their worst enemy. I think that's horrible that their families are gonna have to do that now. Let's see. I wanna go back and check this feed. What is going on?
This suspect obviously may have known what he was doing, but you can guarantee that Providence police will bring him to justice. So again, we are waiting on that video.
They're still saying, like, I've got NBC 10 WJAR up on another panel here, and they're saying the same thing. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna get that video to you in any time now." That yeah, everyone in the chat is like, "Where's the video?" Yeah, it's because they did this big press conference like half an hour ago now, and they're like, as soon as this press conference is finished, we will hand that video over to media. And if you want to be part of the media, there's people at the back of the room who will take your name and organization and put you on the list to receive the video. And so far, there's been no video. Lynn D said, won't be home for Christmas. Yeah, and I think that's the takeaway part of it anyway, isn't it? If 2 of these people, whether they are students or they are teachers or something like that, professors, it doesn't matter. But, you know, places of learning are supposed to be safe. And I know we've learned over the last 25 years that they're not. But, you know, you send your kids out to go to college and you expect them to come home. And instead of heading home for the holidays, at least 2 people are not. And I think that's extremely sad. It's hard not to think of it at this time of year. I mean, if it happened in July, we'd all be like, okay, 2 people died in a school shooting in July. But being so close to like the national sort of day where we all get together with our families and celebrate something that has no meaning except if you're Christian, and even then it's partially wrong. You know, it's not the right day. It's not completely connected to Christianity, but we all sort of take the excuse to get together with our loved ones and, you know, take some time off. Marilyn said nothing has changed since Columbine. Yeah, it really hasn't. Like, what really has changed? Not a lot. They've added a few more safety mechanisms. They've added some more training. There might be classrooms that collapse or turn into a safe room or something. Those type of things, but the deaths themselves have not changed. They're still happening. Let's see. Are they doing another thing here? They're replaying the press conference because they don't have the video. That's pretty funny. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything here. Just trying to get rid of, yeah. I don't know. I will when we get more information, I'll tell you. But right now, we're all sort of in a holding pattern. But they were saying this is the one that surprises me, that the victim that kind of presented later and end up being added to the injury report later was hit by fragments of an item that was shot. It's a weird way to put that. Why don't you just say a gun and a bullet? I mean, what else could it be? A fragment of what exactly? But apparently they presented to a medical center a bit later, and for the start of it wasn't immediately clear that they were connected, but now they are. And yeah, Brown University in what is it? Providence, Rhode Island. Now, if you don't know, I don't know too much about Providence. The only thing I know about it, and I just want to check it's the same place. It is. So the one, if you are not from the area, maybe you're not from the USA, or maybe you are from the USA, but you don't know where this area is or what might be connected to it. If you remember the show Caught in Providence, Caught in Providence was filmed not super close by to here, but the show was based in Providence, Rhode Island. So that might be a way I can tell you that you might be able to connect to it. So if you remember that show, Caught in Providence, where Judge Caprio would sentence people in traffic court, and that was where it was. Isn't Brown an Ivy League school? It is an Ivy League school. Thank you. Teresa said CNN has it. All right, let me have a look.
Recognize about it. Yeah, so many unanswered questions at this point. Motive being chief among them. We haven't even heard anything about that at this point. Whether this suspect was
I can't play anything from CNN because we'll get pinged. Let me see if I've got it on another thing here. No, that's not it. I don't see it as of yet. When it pops up for us, I will play it for you. But I am not. It is not on any of the things I'm watching, unfortunately. The ones that we can watch. Yeah. All right, we're gonna have to wait because we can't use CNN. Shrapnel. Then, if it was fragments of an item, I just think it's a weird way of putting it, don't you? Hey Trisha, how are you? Good to see you. Gina, where is Gina? Hey Gina. I thought the bullet hit an object and the object fragmented, and then the fragments hurt someone, like a piece of something. That could be a way of explaining it too. That would make sense. All right, hold on. We really want to see this particular video. I don't understand how this is working. Hold on.
Well, right now, Waterman, where we're on right now,
I'm not.
police have been some roads.
Let me check one other media company, see if they've got it. The other one, WJLA, is showing a footage of the White House. Why the White House? I'm not sure. Are we expecting the president to make a press conference? Maybe. God, they just they won't give up the video freely. Let me just double check it's not on this one here. No. Yeah, we're gonna have to just wait. Unfortunately, a waiting game. Yeah. No update as of yet, my sweet friends. And they are delaying on the local news that I'm watching too. Yeah, let's have a look. Hey Sean, how are you? Peachy, hey Peachy. If the bullet hits something metal or concrete, they can be hurt from what flies off on impact. You could shatter something like glass if you shot a window and then that became a projectile from shooting through glass. That could do it too. Peachy said all the press have held brief presses sending support to events. I guess they're waiting on that. Could be. Hey Sean. Judge Caprio just died recently. Didn't he die? Did he die this year or last year? I know he died. I know he died, but I can't remember when. Let's have a look. August 20, 2025, Frank Caprio died. He basically worked until his final day. I think he only lived like a year or so after he left the courtroom. Literally like a year to 18 months before he left after he left the courtroom, and he died. So he was very much the typical type of guy who, they have that story about someone who retires and then they die very quickly after they retire. Yeah, Frank Caprio was basically that stereotype of the guy who worked every day until he passed away. Marylander said, I think he was 80. I also think he was suffering from cancer in his final couple of years. I remember just after the show was canceled, he came out saying that he had cancer, and I think it was the cancer that got him, unfortunately. Let me double check on his thing here. Yeah. In December 6, 2023, Judge Caprio announced that he had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and that he completed his final round of treatment in May of 2024. In August 19, 2025, he posted on social media from his hospital bed stating he had been admitted following a health setback. Caprio died the following day, aged 88. So he was almost 90 years old, unfortunately. So yeah, good guy, Frank Caprio, and maybe the only reason I know anything about Rhode Island at all. Is this it? Okay, we have it.
One of the things that does stand out to you upon viewing this initially is how casual.
All right, I'm not going to play her voice, but I will show you the video. There it is. You can't go full screen for some reason, but that's okay. There we go. This is the suspect video. You're seeing it now. Finally, after almost half an hour after the press conference, there you go. You're seeing what they described: dark clothing. They said possibly wearing a camouflage face covering of some sort. Here, let me drag that back so we can watch it. Oh, they're going to play it again. Of course they are. There we go. That's all we got. That's what took half an hour to get to people. This small fragment of a video walking around a corner. If you know who it is, call it in. If you saw that person earlier in the day, yeah, I think you could. He's pretty tall. Yeah, you're right, Gayla. Pretty tall guy. If you look at him compared to that lamppost when he walks by, not a very good shot. No, like front on shot of him, unfortunately. And there you go. That's it. That's all they gave out. I'll see if we can get the full video, like an actual file. Give me one sec. Yes, we probably can. Give me one sec. All right. So I think I'm looking at it online, and it's basically the same thing. It's basically the same thing. So if I switch to this person who uploaded it here, we can watch it here. From WPRI.com. That's the person. And I'll just mute it. There you go. On the replay, this will be on every channel for like the next forever. But that's all we get. It's interesting that they couldn't give us the actual file at all. It looks like it's stuck in a security camera software. Like they can't download it, or they had to record the screen or something. But that is him there. I think they said it was. It was taken on campus. So that is the breaking news. This is the first look at the suspect that anyone's gotten. I hope they give us more. They said they are trawling through more CCTV to try and get more footage of whoever this might be. So that's what I've heard, is that they are trying to get more video. They said it is very complex because they have to basically scan individually through all cameras and go back to the time of when this happened and try and find it. So it can take hours to get a hold of people, get to the camera control room, get to the software, log in remotely, try and scan through the frames. Can take a little bit of time, but that is it right there. That is the big update that we're all waiting on. Yeah, let me check if there's another. Is that really the entire thing? Okay, it's saying it is. That is all we get for now. Walks like he's flat-footed. You know what I don't see is a firearm, unless it's what he's holding in his right hand. Yeah, let's slow it down. Can slow it down, playback speed. Can slow it down a bit. Hold on. I think it's just a shadow. I thought he had something in his hand, but I think it's just a shadow. There you go. Yeah, I'll let it play through. I don't know if it tells us that much, really. Linux says walks unbalanced like he's weighted down on one side by a weapon. I mean, in other crimes, we've seen people hide weapons in their pants, and it makes them walk a little funny because they've got like something rigid that runs down their leg and their hip. So it maybe. Gail said they can follow you from one camera to the next. Well, it depends. Very pixelated must be. Sean is a camera CCTV specialist, and he can tell you everything about what kind of camera is it. Sean, what type of camera is it? Do you know just by judging from the software? Sean might know. Gail said it looks like he's put his right hand with the gun into his pocket. That's what I was looking at. As he rounds that corner, there's something in his right hand, but I can't make out if it was a shadow or it was a firearm. But I couldn't tell. The video quality is very poor. It's extremely pixelated. It's not very high definition. Very, very poor quality. He stops and does something near the end there, though. Hold on, guys. Okay. Yeah. All right. So that's basically our update. When will we get more video? I've got no idea. But all the news channels that I'm seeing are playing this same footage now. So, cameras and software can be unrelated as long as SDK exists. There you go, from the camera expert. Gail said, how many people were shot apart from the two? Well, it's 9. Well, I think it's 9. And two that have been unfortunately passed away. So, shooting is, I don't know what you call the person who was hit by the fragments, but if I consider them a victim too. So, yeah, I think it's 9 though. I think it's 8 that were directly had injuries related to the shooting, 1 who was hit by the fragments, and then the 2 that unfortunately passed away. So count that however you want with whatever number you'd like. All right. I don't think we're going to get too much more for now. Yeah, let's have a look. Yeah, I think so. They're on a manhunt. They're going to try find this guy. Apparently, the Buffalo Bills are locked down in their team hotel and can't go anywhere or do anything. So the Buffalo Bills are in town for a game, and apparently they are also locked down. They won't be going out getting drunk on the town tonight. All right, let's see. Okay, let me have a look here. You know, how scary would this be? There's a footage here. I want to show it to you. You're in a library and you know there's a mass shooter or like some sort of active shooter.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is
I'm going to pause it. But imagine this is you and you're hiding out in a library waiting for the all clear and you see people with guns and it's sort of dimly lit. Like you may not know if they're police at first. Your heart must be going a million miles an hour. Hopefully they identified themselves before they started walking through, but that would have been very, very scary for a couple of minutes for those people. Gail said they were still injured due to a gun. Yeah, I'm muted. I don't think I'm muted. You're muting yourself a lot lately. It's Gayla's fault. She's muting herself. All right, I'm gonna move off this just for a minute because I don't think we're gonna get too much more for now. It took them what 4 or 5 hours just to get that small piece of CCTV. If we get more coming up, I'll change topics and I will come back to it. But I just don't think there's going to be too much more for the minute. So unless we get a new press conference in the hour, and then I'll bring that to you too. But I don't think so. All right. I want to talk to you about a case down here in Australia very briefly. I want to talk to you about sometimes when searches for people go wrong. Now, you go, Ping, what do you mean by that? So this lady is from Belgium, and she was going hiking in the Tasmanian wilderness. Actually, a year ago, I was in Tasmania, and she went missing not too far from where I was staying in Tasmania. So this happened a while ago. They have been trying to locate her for months, years. They've been trying to find her. And what happened this weekend? The family had a private search get underway, and within 3 hours, the private search found the missing girl's mobile phone. Yet, police came out and said they had searched extensively for her and her mobile phone for years. Said that this particular area where the mobile phone was located had been searched a number of times. And somehow, within 3 hours of getting to the location, this private search were able to find her mobile. Now, they haven't been able to find her, but they have been able to find something that could lead to her. So I'm going to take you to that update because I find that fascinating. And I'll tell you a little bit more about her in a minute.
This is the moment a search party realised they'd found a trace of missing Belgian tourist Celine Kremer. Tony Hagi was speechless as he stared at the mobile phone.
Well, I couldn't talk. I just could not talk.
He spotted it today as a search party led by volunteers and friends of Miss Kremer scoured dense Tasmanian bushland.
I just melted. What else would be out here? It's highly unlikely finding another phone here.
Police have verified the phone belonged to Miss Kremer and say it will undergo forensic examination. 31-year-old Celine Kremer disappeared when hiking near Waratah in June 2023. While her white Honda was located at the Philosopher Falls trailhead, multiple searchers found no trace of her. But her friends have vowed to keep looking, travelling from Belgium for a new search mission starting today, joined by fellow volunteers like Mr. Hagi. The discovery, made just 60 metres from its last known position, has reinvigorated the search party.
everyone has high spirits now. There was a lot of information going backwards and forwards to Belgium for the good news.
With 4 more days of searching ahead, the party hopes more answers will follow about their much-loved friend. Emily Smith, ABC News, Waratah.
So I think that's pretty amazing. You know, sometimes these searches just don't behave. Like, you're like, I want this to happen. We're going to find the girl. And it just doesn't happen. And the one I always go back to is the one in New Zealand where they were searching for the missing real estate agent who had been abducted and killed. They searched this location like 7 times over the course of a year, spent hundreds of man hours on it. And then one of the people in the search party said, well, what if we search just outside of the planned search area and search on the other side of these line of trees? They did that and they found her body after a year of trying to find her. So this might be something similar in that maybe their search parameters were very rigid and they were trying to like look in a very sort of, only in this sort of square or this region, and it didn't work. Well, it sounds like they might be on the trail to her because they're saying here her Samsung phone was found by SES search and rescue volunteer Tony Hage on Saturday in the area around Philosopher Falls near Cradle Mountain in Tasmania's northwest, where the 31-year-old was last seen on the 17th of June 2003. So that is really awesome. And I can tell you, I was up in this area a year ago, and it is it looks like that. It is pretty harsh search terrain. There's a lot of rain, a lot of sort of rainforest conditions. It's very dense and it's not an easy search area. By the way, Moon Shadow, I haven't seen you in months. How are you, my friend? It is good to see you. I have not seen Moon Shadow in, I don't know, 4 months or something. So I hope they're doing well. I hope they haven't been away because they've been unwell. Yeah, I hope they're doing well. So they're saying here, so what they think happened to her was she went hiking and misplanned her trip. They said, oh, she went, okay, I'm going to go hiking in this area. I'm going to set out for the day. They believe that she set out too late in the day, got halfway through the search, the sort of hike that she wanted to do, and then went, oh crap, it's getting dark. I have to get back to my car and get out of here before it gets to before there's no more light. Otherwise, there's no lights in there. There's no anything you can see once the sun goes down. And they think what happened is she then decided to deviate from the path that she was on and take a shortcut, using her phone to sort of okay, the direction of it on the map is sort of over here. I'm going to take a shortcut and go through this area. And they believe what happened is she either fell and unfortunately succumbed to her injuries, or she got lost and couldn't find a way out, maybe dropped her phone so she couldn't tell what direction she was going, and most likely succumbed to the elements. Now, I can tell you this part of Tasmania is very strange. During the day, it can be quite warm, like really sort of warm, and at night, it gets absolutely freaking freezing here. When I was up here, I was up there in December. This happened in winter in June, and even in December when it's supposed to be summer, during the day, I got sunburned. And at night, it felt like it was going to snow. It was extremely cold after the sun went down. Like nothing I'd ever felt. Now I live in Melbourne. We get like Arctic weather systems that come up and things like that. Very different in Tasmania. It was like a real deep cold that I would not like to be out in it without any supplies. It would be very awful. And they're saying that that's most likely what happened is after the sun went down, she panicked, tried to keep going and try find a way out, ended up in a very bad place and then succumbed to the elements. Guys, give me 1 sec. I have to help Muffin. 1 second. I'll be back in 1 minute. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Muffin has fallen and he can't get up. He is an elderly cat. He needs a life alert. That's what he needs. um yeah, so this area, it's not a place you really want to get lost in. And since she went missing, other people have also gone up to this region to hike and unfortunately done the same thing. They have got lost or fallen, strayed off the path and passed away. It was only a few months ago that there was another person who died at Cradle Mountain in Tasmania. Hold on. Cradle Mountain. There was another hiker, a Chinese tourist who died from hypothermia in September. Only what was it, a couple months ago now. And they're saying here her group was overwhelmed by sudden extreme weather conditions, including hail, snow, and wind. It gets very, very the weather conditions up there can change in a moment's notice because they're right on the tip of the northwest tip of Tasmania. Weather can come in within an hour and change the landscape very quickly. And I think even a rock climber unfortunately died a couple of years ago, fell from quite a height. Here, let me go here. I want to show you sort of what it can look like up there in the winter. Here. So this is what it can look like up in the winter. And she went missing in winter. So it can sort of look like the left hand side when it's not snowing and hailing and things like that. And on the right hand side looks like what happens when you get a system come through and dump a bunch of snow and hail and things like that. And this is the type of time of year she went missing in. Very harsh conditions at times. It's very remote. There's not a ton of anything around it. A lot of things are like an hour drive away from the place. And I can tell you, when I drove through Tasmania in the northwest, everything's spread out. It's sort of like there's nothing anywhere. You sort of have to either go to Launceston or you have to go to one of the big sort of towns or cities. A lot of the small ones are extremely tiny, not like mainland Australia, like in Victoria, Sydney, that type of thing. It's very, very like sort of rural. Uh, Sean says Tasmanians were the original greenies chaining themselves to trees. The forests are far and wide. Yeah, it is crazy out there. Linux said the last time I went to Tasmania was 1982. Really? 1982. I went last year and it was an experience. I've never been to Tasmania before and it was nothing like I thought it would be. Nothing. It's a very you don't realize how vast it is until you get out there. It is for such a small island in Australia, it is just vast. It's weird. It's hard to explain, but it's just very few towns and they're just really spread apart. And some places you have to drive like an hour, 2 hours between different, you know, small towns. So, hey Joe, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Montana State must have really robust wildlife to live successfully there. I mean, they have probably wallabies and kangaroo and koala, Tasmanian tiger probably. A muffin. Muffin probably lives out there. I'd say he probably does. Let's see. Hey Penguin, good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. Let's have a look. I've dunked my phone far too many times. Okay, don't dunk your phone. Sean said in Hobart, I went from, yeah, it does that. When I was up there, it did that. It'd be like a lovely sunny day on the water, and then all of a sudden the clouds and wind would come in from the ocean, and it would just turn into like freezing weather in like that. So I'm guessing that is maybe what she experienced, and she was in the middle of winter. So it's not a great time to get lost in Tasmania. And unfortunately, they do believe, she's been missing since the 17th of June, 2023. That's like deep winter in Australia. And the fact that she's not been found and there's been no contact for almost 2 years, that she most likely died, but they would like to find her and bring her home. But yeah, it's good news. Found her phone. Now they've got to try and find her. That's what they've got to do next. So what are they saying here? Yeah. So at the time that she went missing, the winter weather in the area includes sub-zero temperatures, snow, and rainfall. They say expert medical advice at the time indicated those conditions were not survivable for the duration she is believed to have been exposed. So yes, they believe most likely the elements caused her to die from hypothermia. They're saying illustrating how perilous and changeable conditions can be in the far-flung extremity of Australia's southern edge. An independent controller postponed the search for Crema on Sunday morning due to rain, hail, and potential snow after a bushwalker's weather alert was issued by the Bureau of Meteorology. So even today, in December, 14th of December, it's supposed to be summer, they had an alert for rain, hail, and potential snow in Tasmania, and they called off the search for today because the conditions were going to be too awful. You imagine what it's like in winter. It gets pretty crazy over there. They're saying here the initial police search lasted for 2 weeks before being called off when experts made the determination that Crema could not have survived. Despite numerous and extensive searches in treacherous terrain and challenging weather conditions since, no sign of her was found until they found her phone yesterday. And they're saying here, Tony located her mobile phone less than 100 meters from her last known GPS point. They say this proves the theory that she lost her phone shortly after recording her final location and provides clear direction on the path she was heading. So they are very excited by the fact that they might be able to find her. They might be able to find her and bring her home. So that would be good. It would put an end to a mystery of what happened to this young woman and why have they not been able to find her. So it would be a Christmas miracle if they do it. If they pull it off this week, they might be able to bring her home, and that would be great news. All right, hold on. All right, there we go. Yeah, so I thought I'd bring that to you. It's not often that we get very sort of search and rescue is a funny game. It either works or it doesn't. And this one sort of had a tale of two things. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I had a phone call from Mrs. Ping, and she was like, "Pick up," and I picked up the phone, and it was ringing, and there was all these messages like saying, "Pick up the phone. Why aren't you answering my SMSs?" And I was like, "Because I'm on the live stream." And she's like, "Oh, okay." Um, Danny, I used to hike alone. As I got older, I don't. One of the things I've seen that people take. Have you seen these like little devices that a lot of people have that do mountain hiking and things? You can take these little GPS devices that are better than a mobile phone. Hold on. Yeah, GPS device. They're very popular with people that go overseas. Um, so if you go overseas and you do like a lot of hiking in different countries, they're called the Garmin GPS map. And they also will give you like a small map, and it's very reliable, much more reliable than a phone. And I think it can connect to a satellite. So if you don't have cell phone service, so you can't get like cell phone coverage, this can connect to a satellite instead, and it can get you maps, so you can send messages to people. So if you get into trouble, you can send an SOS to people. It works off a satellite rather than a cell phone tower. So a lot of people that do hiking or anything in the remote wilderness, and they want to make sure if they get into trouble they can get help, they use these. So I don't know if many people have heard of them, but these are really popular. And yeah, they're very interesting. The fact that they don't work off a traditional cell phone tower makes them a little more reliable. And if you get into trouble, you can make an SOS. I think it even has a thing where if you get into, say you fall and you can't do anything and you break bones, there's a button you can push on it, and it sends out an alert um to like ambulance and authorities, but it also alerts your family. So it sends out a SOS to everyone that needs to know about you. And, it'll hopefully bring a search and rescue team to come and get you, but it'll also tell your family that you're in trouble. And yeah, these are a good investment if you are an outdoors person and you like being out there. So Chipmunk says, I've fallen and I can't get up for hikers. Basically, yeah. It's not an EPIRB. It's similar to an EPIRB, but it's different. I don't know. I'm not a hiker. I don't go out hiking. I don't know what the difference is, but I just know that a lot of people who do mountain climbing and that type of thing use these type of devices. That they're very popular. And yeah, you can get maps, you can get weather reports and stuff like that on them. So I don't know if that would have helped this young lady. I think it wasn't so much finding her way back as she died from the weather, from being out there for too long. And the fact that if she took the route that she took to get to where she was and she tried to follow it back, she still would have run out of daylight. So who knows if she would have made it back to the vehicle or not. It's hard to know, but they believe that she went off the path that she was on and ended up trying to take a shortcut and then got lost. So that is the unfortunate story of Celine. And look, now they've found her mobile phone. Maybe we'll get a Christmas miracle. Maybe we will. And they'll be able to bring her home to Belgium to her family. Because, you know, in Australia, it's a big, when we have tourists that come over to Australia and they die in our country, one of the things that I think a lot of Australians plus our authorities feel strongly about is being able to at least give them back and take them home to their country. And I know not only me, but a lot of other Australians feel strongly that we should try as much as we can to get them and do the search and rescue and yeah, get them home to their families, even if they're not alive anymore. And I think it's such a great thing when we're able to do that. And it shows how much Australians care about the visitors to our country because we live in a country that's quite rough. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, you know, whether you go to the outback or you go to the ocean or whether you go to the hills in Australia. There's a lot of crazy things that can happen. There's a lot of animals that will want to eat you. So it's one of the things that we like to do as a country is at least be able to give the people back to their country. Sean says Tassie is bigger than Belgium. Isn't that mental? Twice as big. That's crazy to me. And unfortunately, she got lost up there and would not make it back alive to her family. I hope that they do find her this week and that her family gets some great news. Did they say there's another update 2 hours ago? Oh, okay. Apparently, because this independent search party found that mobile phone yesterday, Tasmanian police have decided to rejoin the search for her. And they're saying that now, not just the volunteer organization, but also Tasmanian police are going to come and dedicate resources to helping the search effort. So apparently, they are joining the search for Celine. That's great news. That means more people, more chances of maybe finding her. So that would be great. That would be really good news. Yeah, that's the big update. Victoria Police going to rejoin the search for her. Okay. All right. All right. I think that's it. That's the update on that one for you. A bivvy? You might need a bivvy, yeah. Let me check if we got any further updates on the shooting. What's this?
They stated it very well that we stick together. So that message will be that for anyone who has as well shelter in place in effect.
It's become kind of the information hub. for
Another press conference? Hold on.
At the city level, at the police level, and we've learned a lot.
Unless we have really meaningful updates or breaking news through the night, this will be our last update of the evening. We will absolutely share if there are important or impactful updates in the middle of the night, but at this time, we're expecting this to be the last update for now. Again, I'm joined by Governor Dan McKee, and the state's partnership and cooperation and assistance through this process has been invaluable, and I want to thank the governor for that. Also joined by members of the Providence City Council who have done an excellent job of keeping their constituents involved and informed through what an extraordinarily stressful night for everybody in the city of Providence and throughout the state of Rhode Island. Special acknowledgement and recognition to the councilman for this neighborhood, whose neighborhood is under shelter in place right now, which is Councilman John Goncalves. Thank you, Councilman. At this time, we have no further update to provide in the status of our investigation and the search for the individual who is still at large. We have shared the image of the individual we believe to be the shooter. We know that there is not a clear shot of the face in what was provided, but we continue to canvass the neighborhood and the campus for additional video footage, still photography, and are interviewing witnesses. I mentioned earlier we are asking for help from the community in terms of tips or relevant information, and I want to thank the FBI who has set up a new website to allow for videos or photos to be uploaded. I'd like to share that with you at this time, and we'll provide it also after the fact. But the website address is fbi.gov/Brown University shooting. Again, that's fbi.gov, Brown University shooting. We know that the telephone line doesn't allow, obviously, for the uploading of video or photographs. This website does allow for that. And our partnership with the FBI, which has been excellent throughout the evening, they quickly stood up this resource to allow us to comb through additional evidence or tips as they may come in. The Providence Police also has a specific tip line now for this incident. That phone number is 401-652-5767. Again, that's 401-652-5767. That's the Providence Police tip line specifically for this incident. Before I turn it over to the governor, I just want to speak to the shelter in place that remains in effect for the Brown campus and the surrounding areas. We will keep the shelter in place in effect until such time as it has been lifted. It has been very helpful both for the safety and security of our neighbors, but more importantly for the investigation that remain in effect. It has allowed police, Providence Police, Brown Police, and all of our partners to canvass the neighborhood, look for evidence, assess if there are additional cameras that may yield video evidence, and to do a visual search to help provide and ensure a sense of safety for our community.
Geez, I mean, the fact they're going to keep that shelter in place, what does that mean for the rest of the people? I'm hoping they got most of them out by now. Yeah, I want to jump to the what they set up here.
There is a whole around this issue, Mayor, rallying around Providence, Brown University. As a parent, grandparent, we know that we have deep feelings right now in the state, but they're coming together, and I think that that's something that we can certainly rally behind as we enter into the second day. At the hospital, shout out to our nurses and our medical staff that is taking care of 9 individuals right now, and also to the communities at large that have responded to you, Mayor, right? Whether they're coming from my hometown of Cumberland or all around the state of Rhode Island. So we're rallying behind one another. We're going to continue that in day 2. The state pledges all its resources to the city of Providence. We'll continue partnering with our federal officials as well to make sure that justice comes to the individual that pulled the trigger and caused death. And families that are going to have to deal with this for a lifetime.
do I wish as a. Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, as the mayor stated, obviously, first and foremost, my thoughts and prayers to the family for losing their loved ones, especially in these times of the holidays that we'll get together with our family. So beyond that, I'll tell you that when the call came in, immediately our officers responded. Providence Police was here within minutes. At that point, obviously, we communicated with Brown Police and we did what we needed to do. At this point, as the mayor stated, we're going to continue to canvass the area. We have enhanced enforcement in the city. I got to thank our municipalities, our brothers and sisters from other municipalities who actually reached out immediately asking if I needed anything, as well as the state police. And so we're there with that, as well as the federal agencies, the FBI, ATF, who came and responded immediately and provided extra personnel, extra resources. At this point, it's all hands on deck. And I'll tell you that it was saved by the mayor and it was saved by the governor. It will be our job to ensure that the individual is responsible is brought to justice. I think that's a father,
All right, I'm going to leave it there. It's just more droning on with words that don't mean very much when you're looking for someone who has killed 2 people and you don't know who it is. It's just a lot of like blah, 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 blah. It's like, find the guy, then you can hold your press conference where you talk about 1,000 things that mean not a lot. These kind of press conferences really annoy me because it's like the public just wants the information. They just want to know what they're looking for, what's going on, how many people have been hurt, and what to do next. Instead, they have these 30-minute press conferences where they just go on about how much they love Rhode Island and how much, it means to the city or whatever. There's time for that. The time now is to find this guy or girl and get them into custody. Like, that's the main game right now. And I think in the many hours and the many press conferences that we've had so far, like I said, this is going to be the last one for the night. We know very little compared to what we did hours ago. We know maybe, about the 9 people who were hurt, the 2 people who have died, and we have a 20-second video of the guy walking around a corner. So, yeah. Linux says, sounds like they have not eliminated the possibility of a second shooter on the same team. I'm not sure. I think, anything's possible. I think they got asked about a second shooter, and I think they said they don't think so. But, it's an active investigation. Things can change within the minute. So we'll have to see on that one. But I reckon by morning, hopefully we'll have better CCTV, something where you can see the face of the person, because showing them the back of it, unless you're either live with the person or, came across them during that day, like you're a student at the college or whatever, that's probably the only people who might know who this person could be. So hopefully we get better CCTV, because this one's 31 seconds long of him walking around that corner that we had before. Can we play it? Yeah, let's pause the stupid music. And there you go. Walking around the corner. So that's our final update for it tonight, they said. Unless they get something else that's breaking news, they're not going to have another press conference until morning. So we're going to have to wait till the morning. So there you go. Sean said our Australian campuses have many hundred cameras. I'm sure this university has many hundreds of cameras as well. Why it takes so long to get through them? Probably a billion reasons. I don't know. But they probably do have. I would expect an Ivy League school to have 60 million cameras. Joe said, how in the name of Big Brother is watching the security cameras everywhere? Do we not have one footage like Mangione? I know it is a bit interesting that 10 hours after the shooting, we don't have something different to him walking around a corner. Penguin says, if you're lost and your phone is about to die, change the outgoing message on your phone to detail your condition and as much as you can on your location. Oh, yes, that's a good point. Almost like a you could do it on your email too. Like when you're out of work and then you're like, I won't be back till Monday. I'm on holidays for 2 weeks or whatever. You could do that on your email. So if someone emailed you, they would get a reply and it says, I'm lost in the wilderness in X, Y, and Z. You could do it like that too. Good point. Yeah, it is interesting that we don't have a lot of footage right now. Not even like footage from the campus itself. I was looking through some of the video provided from, people who were in a very scary situation, but I was looking through some of the video that they filmed and put online, and it's very, very scant. When you have these big events, normally you get like a pile of video that comes out. This one is it seems to be very like far and few between. There's a couple, there's a lot of the police turning up, but what happened in those moments of the shooting, there's not a lot. It's very very, very quiet on that front. Like we see a lot of things of people waiting around, waiting for police to let them out or to give them the okay to leave. A lot of videos like that, but of the actual shooting taking place, not very many. I'm just having a look here to see if I can give you anything better. Why is there like a naked woman? Like I'm searching this thing on Twitter just to see if there's any other videos or whatever. So I'm going through the media tab and it's like Trump, footage from the town, footage from the school, naked woman bent over a chair. And it's like, how is that in the search results for a campus shooting? It is literally a blonde lady bent over a chair with no clothes on. So I don't understand. How does that end up in this particular search? What is this one here? No, that's something else. No, that's a different story. Yeah, I don't see anything that would add to this for you. They had a clip audio here. I'll play this from earlier. I'm sure you heard it, but I'll play it just for completeness sake.
Officially going to be a mass casualty incident. I have Engine 3 and Rescue 7, as well as Rescue 2, headed to Hope and Waterman. If there's possibly 20 victims, we're going to need as much mutual aid as you can get.
Affirmative. We're over Intercity now and working with Cranston.
Officially going to be a mass casualty incident. I have Engine 3 and Rescue 7, as well as Rescue 2, headed to Hope and Waterman. If there's possibly 20 victims,
There you go. Just this scanner from earlier. I just don't get it. I don't get why you would put that in the search results. It's almost like they did it on purpose to mix it up in like everyone looking for the shooting on campus. So they're like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put some naked ladies in the search result. I just don't get it. What is the oh, okay. It is someone advertising their naked lady business. That's what it was. Naked lady photo and video business. That's what it was. Yeah, look. Yeah, look at this. Look at this particular statistic, if I can get it on the screen for you. So here, this was back from 2021. Brown has one surveillance camera for every 9 undergrads. Students raise concerns about it. But yeah, apparently they had one camera for every 9 undergraduate students on campus. So they had a lot of footage to go through, a lot of cameras to look for. So yeah. Joe said, keep in mind that even if first responders are dispatched to the scene, they can't actually go in. Yeah, they can't go in until it's safe. Yep. Yep, that's right. So yeah, that's an interesting fact. What is that? How many undergrads would they have? Let's have a look. Undergrads at Brown. in 2025. So wow, if it's for every 9, they would have something like 7,272. What if we divide that by 9? 7,272 divided by 9 equals. Says here, if you're to believe that article and the numbers, that they would have roughly somewhere around 800 cameras on campus. 800. I don't know if that's true. That's a lot of cameras, but it wouldn't surprise me. Let me see if I can find the article. Brown has 1 surveillance. Okay, according to the 2021 column in the Brown Daily Herald by PhD candidate John Wren, the university operated around 800 cameras on campus, which translates to more than 1 camera for every 10 undergraduate students at the time. Yeah, there you go. They do. Around 800 cameras are on campus. Interesting. I had no idea it would be that many, but there you go. 800 cameras. That is a lot of cameras to look through for the gunman or where he went or, things that relate to this particular event. It's about 800 is what they're saying. Chipmunk said, I'd rather have a lot of cameras. Maybe you're just an exhibitionist. Maybe you just like to get in front of those cameras, Chipmunk. A cruise ship has 2,000 cameras? Really? I did not know that. 348 million guns in the US. That is probably true too. There's probably, isn't there some crazy statistic that there's like a gun, like 5 guns for every person or something? Something like that. There you go. I'm suspecting that given they have 800 cameras on campus, that we will get some other video at some point. If they're not going to do any more updates tonight, then I'm just going to, yeah, even the local news has dropped the story now. So I am too. Until we get an update, I'm going to leave it and I'm going to go back to other true crime. Let's go back to our other updates. So I have more true crime updates for us to go through, and I have one from Denver. Let's head to Denver, where it's an old crime, 10 years. They're saying a woman died on an Amtrak train, and finally her boyfriend has been found guilty of first-degree murder. Jury only took 5 hours to find the man guilty in a unanimous verdict. Let's head here and find out more about it. How do you die on an Amtrak train? Well, you're about to find out. Here, let me take you over there.
New murder charges filed against a man 7 years after an Amtrak train arrived in Denver with a dead woman on board.
It's a story the Problem Solvers brought you back in 2017 after we traveled to Wisconsin to detail the victim's long history of domestic abuse. Investigative reporter Rob Lowe has reaction from the victim's brother, who's been waiting for this day.
The family of 28-year-old Mariana Paciencia says she was taking the train from Wisconsin to Union Station with her 4 small kids to escape her common-law husband, Angelo Mantich, and years of domestic violence. Problem is, he was on the train too. An autopsy said her death on that train was undetermined, but a medical expert says it's not a mystery. She was choked and suffocated. It was September 1st, 2016, when an Amtrak train arrived at Union Station with the body of 28-year-old Marina Plasencia on board. Her common-law husband, Angelo Mantich, said he had tried to wake her up 20 minutes before their arrival, only to discover she wasn't breathing. The couple had 4 kids with them, all under the age of 5.
So when my mother called me that morning and said they were trying to resuscitate my sister at Union Station, I knew something was wrong.
Christopher Medina is Mariana's older brother and tells the Problem Solvers his family had convinced his sister to come to Denver to escape years of domestic abuse. She would not arrive alive. And
Isn't that brutal to strangle her on a train at Amtrak, and then when you get to the destination, you just pretend like, oh, I tried to wake her up, and she wouldn't wake up. I am surprised it took 10 years to see through that baloney. But apparently it did, but he has finally been found guilty, and that is great news. Let me take you over to this one here. Man found guilty 9 years after girlfriend's body was found in Denver-bound Amtrak train. So that is great news. Good justice for her. Convicted of first-degree murder. I'm surprised it took 10 years. So when is he going to be sentenced? When is he going to be sentenced? They're saying here he was in court Friday for the reading of the verdict, hanged his head as it was read. He's scheduled to be sentenced on January 9. That is very interesting. They're saying here Denver 7 also spoke with a juror who was on the jury panel who said the group was united in their decision and worked well together. That is great news to hear from a jury too. First-degree murder carries a mandatory life sentence in prison without the possibility of parole, but the sentencing hearing will be an opportunity for those who loved her to tell the judge how this loss has impacted their lives. The two sides delivered their closing arguments on Friday morning. Prosecutors said she took the train that day with her 4 children, 3 of whom she shared with the accused, to escape years of DV. They argued that a loss of control served as the motive for the killing. Prosecutors aimed to discredit the alternate explanations offered up by the accused, pointing to what they say was clear evidence of a smothering. So they're saying that she was smothered. And they're saying here, the defense's closing argument surrounded around an apparent lack of commotion on the train on the night of her death, saying it would be almost impossible for her to have been smothered for several minutes without their children noticing. Defense attorneys also called into question the integrity of the investigation that saw significant delays. I don't think so. I don't think it would take several minutes as such. I think we've heard that it can take anywhere from a few minutes to several minutes, but several minutes would be the end of the scale. It can happen quicker than that. And it's night, maybe the kids have been asleep, and he just took his opportunity to kill her. Yeah, I don't think the kids would know. Finally caught. I know, 10 years. He's finally going to see justice, and he will probably go to prison for the rest of his life. Thank the Lord. Let's see. Is this one that we watched? This might be the same one that we watched before.
Thanks for Amtrak.
Colette Bordelon in.
Okay, we can watch this one.
I'm Jessica
Plasencia. After just a few hours of deliberation after a 2-week trial.
Prosecutors say she boarded an Amtrak train from Wisconsin in 2016 to escape her abusive relationship with Mantich. But the jury found he boarded that train too and killed her.
Denver 7's Colette Bordelon inside the courtroom as the verdict was read. She shares the emotional reaction as he learned his fate.
It's difficult to describe the tension in a courtroom between the moment when a verdict is handed off to the judge and they actually read it out loud. The courtroom just goes completely silent and still. And for the family of Marina Plasencia, they'd been waiting almost a decade to hear one word, guilty, and they heard that today. Her father telling me it feels like Christmas, New Year's, and his birthday all wrapped up into one day. And naturally, the family, they need a little bit of time to decompress after all of this. They've been waiting so long for a day like today. So I'm going to give them that space. And when they're ready to speak on camera, I'll be following back up. Marina Plasencia was a mom to 4 kids and only 28 years old when she was killed. In August of 2016, she, along with her children, boarded an Amtrak train from Wisconsin, where they lived, and headed for Denver. Mantich was on the train too. Once the train arrived at Union Station, she was dead. Prosecutors argue Mantich smothered her after living for years in a cycle of domestic violence, saying the trip to Denver was a loss of that control for Mantich, and that he took advantage of the dark train when time was running out and she was trying to escape. While the defense claimed it would have been impossible for Mantich to smother Plasencia while she was surrounded by her small children, they also asserted her death could have been caused by a number of other factors, including an alleged alcoholism, arguing Mantich was not guilty of her murder. But ultimately, prosecutors prevailed, and we caught up with them once they stepped outside of the courtroom.
It's a real testament to endurance and commitment by the entire team who's worked on it since 2016.
It sends a very strong message to offenders who think that they can continue to perpetrate these types of crimes and violence on victims of domestic violence, that there will be justice sought and that we will not relent on our pursuit of that justice for victims of domestic violence.
Mantich will be sentenced on January 9th. Now, a first-degree murder charge in Colorado carries a mandatory sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole, but that day is when the family members of Plasencia can tell the judge exactly how this case has impacted them. I also spoke with a juror who says they only deliberated for a few hours today, and really they were all on the same page when it came to those deliberations. In Denver, Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
Colette, thank you. Going in depth, Colorado lawmakers and advocates have called for stronger domestic violence prevention and survivor support as domestic violence deaths rise in our state. An October report from the Colorado Domestic Violence Fatality Review Board shows domestic violence deaths increased by almost 25% last year when compared to 2023.
You know, I think we thought we saw the high mark for DV deaths during COVID, but the fact that in 2024, they rose 24%. What will 2025 be next year? Will it be even higher than that? That is a huge jump in homicides against domestic partners. Hold on. All right. Yeah, that is very sad, but hey, sometimes justice is delayed, but at least we've got it now for her. Her family can rest easy knowing that they don't have to fight that battle anymore, and that he will go to jail and probably never see the light of day ever again. Thank the Lord for that one. Smothered her on a train. You have to be a degenerate to do that. What an absolute scumbag. All because she, you know, that's what it was. They're right. It's about control. She was trying to flee, basically, him to go stay with family. And he knew as soon as she hopped off that train, he had lost her. So he decided to do the only thing he could think of in his brute mind, and that was strangle and smother her and kill her to try and make it look like an accident. I don't know how you can make smothering look like an accident on a train, but it didn't work. It did not work, and eventually he was found out. So we will see what happens in early January. Hopefully we get a good result on that one too. I'm hoping it's life in prison and he'll never see the light of day. They're saying here, apparently during their investigation, they found that the defendant had beat her daily and said that she had to go to the hospital multiple times for the injuries from the assaults that he gave to her. apparently had punched her in the ear several times, causing her to lose hearing in that ear. He was arrested and charged with assault at that time. And they're saying here, on May 18, 2023, a doctor confirmed that the victim's cause of death was the result of asphyxia from suffocation, and that her injuries were consistent with suffocation cases in both living and deceased patients. He said he believed her injuries were the result of an assault, including blunt force trauma and suffocation. There you go. Apparently, he did not testify in his own defense at the trial. Well, sometimes we get a good verdict in the court of law, and this one seems like a very good one. And this guy, you know, you look at a photo of him and you go, look at this Frankenstein looking mother effer. If you put a couple of bolts on his neck, painted him green, he could be a great stand-in for Frankenstein. He really could be. If he just hustled around moaning and had his arms out in front of him, he could be Frankenstein. He does look like that would be what he could dress up for as Halloween in jail. He could be the jail's Frankenstein. He does look a little bit like Lurch too. A little bit. Danny says, in my opinion, women and men are coming forward about DV issues. Yeah, I definitely think it's becoming more like a not socially acceptable thing, but it's becoming a thing that we are more stronger on. Like if something happens, we do something about it. Juicy Jewel says, okay. Senior buddies look companions in the USA. Okay, I will. But one with brains. I don't know if he has any brains or awareness. Yeah, I could be. Yeah, definitely more awareness. Definitely more not reluctance for people to come forward, and authorities are charging more with these type of crimes or putting them under those type of descriptors more often now, which is good news. Let's see. All right. I don't have, so people kept asking me, do we have an update about the girl in Savannah? I don't, unfortunately. I don't have an update about the girl who was chemically attacked in Savannah, and that's very sad. But if I do get an update about that one, I will bring it to you. But there's one I want to talk about here. It's about a DoorDash driver, and I know I'm a couple of days late on it, but I thought it's Saturday night. Some of you may be getting DoorDash, and I think we should talk about it. If I can just grab this story here. Yeah, let me take you to CBS 4 in Indiana.
The delivery driver's arrested, accused of spraying an order with pepper spray.
Have you heard about this story? It's gotten a lot of play.
Yeah, it has.
This incident, it was all caught on camera. Micah Knoll spoke with the couple who placed that order.
A typical night for Mark and Mandy Carden turns sour. A delivery driver bringing their food sprays it with an unknown liquid and is caught on camera. The couple only realized something was wrong after taking a bite.
Wife went into the door and got the food and brought it into the house. And I still hadn't went into the kitchen. She was sitting there eating. And all of a sudden she started just coughing and like gasping, like she started choking, and then she threw up.
Vanderburgh County Sheriff Noah Robinson says tampering with food in this manner can be considered a level 5 felony.
It's possible to go to prison for this. Now, it depends on the criminal history of the individual involved. And so it's way too soon to be discussing what kind of outcome might be looking at. That might be something later on when it came to if a trial occurred or if a plea was in there to have that discussion. But nonetheless, tampering with somebody's food and deliberately adulterating it is a felony in the state of Indiana.
When Carden tried to contact the driver, he says he was blocked. Carden says he went to social media to warn others.
I know how powerful of a tool social media is because you see people go viral for everything. And, you know, I don't want to be famous. This isn't about being famous. This is about protecting people. You know, I mean, this should have never happened.
The driver has been identified as Courtney Stevenson. A news release from the Vanderburgh County Sheriff's Office goes on to say she told detectives she used pepper spray not on the food, but to spray a spider she said she saw while making the delivery. At that temperature, outdoor spiders in Indiana are not active and would not be capable of crawling on exposed surfaces.
Nice try, love. Nice try. You're like, I saw a spider, and you know what I was going to do? I was going to pepper spray it. I was trying to save my customers from being bitten by the spider. And then the detectives are all like, so we consulted with the university that do research on arachnids in this area. And they're like, during this time of year where the weather is so cold, they are not active. They would not be crawling at all. And they're like, do you have any other stories or explanations that you would like to give us? Anything about polar bears, maybe? Did you see a polar bear? And you're like, I just wanted to scare the polar bear away. So I sprayed pepper spray. You may not be able to see it on the video because it was hiding behind the bag. The polar bear was hiding behind the order bag. She is not a very smart individual. Very, very silly. Trying to get back at customers for not tipping is what I think happened. I think they obviously didn't tip enough that she thought was not generous enough. And she's like, well, I'm going to show them. I'm going to pepper spray their food. She did that, but didn't realize that like 90% of Americans have a Ring doorbell camera now. And she was caught out. So very silly individual. Sometimes people do very silly things. I have a statement here from the authorities. By the way, here's a photo of her just before she enacts that crime. There's a photo of Courtney with her purple hair spraying the food. And what does it say here? That she's being held without bond pending extradition to Indiana. So there you go. They say the bond on the warrant has been set at $3,500 cash. But how will she get that bond amount if she can't deliver food? How could she do that? They're saying here, apparently they asked her to come in and do an interview, and that she rang later to the police and told them that she wasn't going to come in. And then when she didn't come in to be interviewed, they issued a warrant for her arrest. I find this so funny about the spider thing, though. They say here, she told detectives that she used pepper spray, not on the food, but to spray a spider. She said she saw while making the delivery. She explained that she is terrified of spiders. They said the overnight low was 35 degrees. At that temperature, outdoor spiders in Indiana are not active and would not be capable of crawling on exposed surfaces. She's a very silly individual. So there you go. Your stupid criminal of the week. There you go. Stupid people on your screen. I get it. If you're a DoorDash driver, you have a very hard job. I think it's not easy to do. You have to deal with a lot of jerks, a lot of customers who are jerks, a lot of food places who screw you around. DoorDash might screw you around a lot of the times as well. But don't do this to customers. You're just asking for trouble. And now this lady is going to get some trouble. She's going to be extradited and face court over pepper spraying someone's food. So she took her anger out in the wrong way. Maybe find a different way to take out your anger about people who don't tip well enough. So there we go. Courtney Stevenson. And she will go to court at some point. It doesn't tell us when, but she will. And I don't know if the judge will laugh or cry, but yeah, there we go. Let's see what else. What other updates do I have? Let's see what else I have for you. Not that one. Actually, I do want to see, do we have an update for Ashley, the woman who got chemical attacked? Yeah, let's get an update on Ashley. What's going on with her? I want to see if they've tried to find the guy that threw the chemical on her.
A woman is recovering here in Augusta after getting attacked with acid in Savannah. That happened Wednesday night at Forsyth Park when the victim, now identified as Ashley Wazelensky, was walking around, and officials say that a man hiding in the shadows suddenly came out and attacked her. The chemical used allegedly melted through her clothing and her headphones. Now, a friend close to the victim is saying that no one deserves what happened to her.
Deserves anything like this, of course, but if you could meet Ashley, I'm telling you, this girl she is just an incredible human being who would do anything for anyone. And so that's what's so hard to wrap your mind around.
Wasilewski is stable after getting second-degree burns. Right now, investigators are asking for the public's help identifying that suspect.
Okay, so
Christmas tradition in our
hey,
area.
so they still don't know who attacked her and threw the acid onto her. That is very sad. I thought they would have figured it out by now. If you don't know who I'm talking about, there's a photo of Ashley. If I can get it to pop up here. This poor woman, you should see how she's bandaged in hospital. Here, I'll show you. Where is it? Okay. Here. There you go. This is how she looks in hospital, recovering from her injuries after a man, while she was walking through a park, came up and dumped some sort of acidic liquid onto her, causing it to burn not only her clothes, and her car keys. And she's currently recovering in hospital, got third-degree burns all over her head, her face, her arms, her hands. Poor lady. She's in for a world of pain, unfortunately. Apparently, she has to have skin grafts all on her hands, her arms, her face, everywhere. And she's unsure why this guy would target her. She doesn't know. They don't know either. But yeah, she suffered third-degree burns in the attack, which took place at 8 p.m. The other day. They say a man who she does not know approached her from behind and poured an unknown chemical on her. She does not know her attacker. And they're saying here, there is a guy that they would like to speak to, but as far as I know, they have not located him. So there's his photo. Let me see if I can make that larger for you. There you go. That is the man who they would like to speak to in relation to this particular event. Yes, so that is it. No update, unfortunately, right now. I wish I had a better update about her condition or how they're doing it, trying to find the guy who might have hurt her. But so far, yeah. Okay, they did do an update actually. Hold on. There was an update from the government. I'll try and get to it if I can. Yeah, yeah.
Good evening, Savannah. Good evening, Savannah. I want to take a moment to speak to you directly about Wednesday night's aggravated assault near Forsyth Park. I know many of you have seen the reports and it's caused great concern across our city. I want you to hear from me exactly where things stand. First, our thoughts remain with the victim as she continues to recover. Our detectives have been working around the clock since this was reported. At this stage, we don't have any new information to release. What we do have is a clear investigative plan and a team that is pursuing every lead, reviewing every piece of footage, and interviewing every potential witness. I want to be clear about something right now. We have no evidence that this is part of a larger pattern or there is an ongoing threat to the public. However, out of an abundance of caution, we have increased patrols in our parks and in other public spaces. You're going to see more officers out, and that presence is intentional to provide visibility, reassurance, and a quick response if needed. We also continue to ask for your help. If you were in or near Forsyth Park last Wednesday night, especially if you were taking photos or video, please reach out to us. Even the smallest detail could help move this investigation forward. I want to address the conversation happening online. We understand how quickly information, speculation, and worry can spread. That's why we're 100% committed to sharing verified updates as soon as we have them and not before. Accuracy matters, investigative integrity matters, and your trust matters. Savannah is strong, a strong connected community. We get through difficult moments by staying informed, staying calm, and working together. We are fully engaged and fully committed to bring.
You know, there are a lot of fully. They're fully everything. I'm fully to fully to fully. We'll see what happens, but so far, other than that, there's been no update on the person they are trying to look for in relation to it. Joe says there's an update on London Valdez. Braden Brown charged with second degree M. Will have his first post-arraignment pretrial hearing on the 17th. You should head to Oklahoma. Yeah, head to Oklahoma. Be there for the court day. You might as well. I mean, you done most of the investigative part so far. You might as well see it through the court system as well. Head down. I don't know how far of that. I'm not sure if you want to do that drive again, but if you can, you should. You should go down and see it through the court system and document your trip to there. All right, what else do we have? I think we're almost done for tonight. We're almost at 2 hours. Let's see. You know, let's have a look. Actually, I want to see if there's any more update. We told you a story the other night about a woman found in Charlotte, Mecklenburg, and I want to see if there's an update. She was found dead in her car in front of a church, and I just want to see if there was a better update for us. Oh, they arrested someone over her death. That is very good news. Let me bring you that update. Great. That is great news. All right.
Well, tonight, a heartbreaking end to the search for a missing Charlotte mother.
CMPD says 31-year-old Frasia Baker was found dead inside a car in the Washington Heights neighborhood. Her family confirms that someone has now been arrested in connection with her death.
WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre is live near where her body was discovered. And Jesse, what's her family saying tonight?
Well, they are devastated by all of this. And again, just a few days ago, we were here across the street with the family and friends as they pass around this flyer, you know, desperately looking for Frasia Baker. And tonight they are grieving. A father in disbelief, trying to process a week of fear that ended in tragedy.
I just hate that she's gone. I hate that.
31-year-old Frasia Baker found dead in a car left near a church off Sanders Avenue and Betty's Ford Road. It's the same area dozens searched for days after Frasia vanished last Thursday.
My daughter was sweet, kind, lovable, and give you the shirt off her back.
Excellent, mother.
Frazia's cause of death has not been released, but her family say a man she was last seen with is now in custody.
The detective exact word was, we got him, we picked him up, we arrested him. That's what it is. And we charged him with murder.
Frazia's father didn't hold back, sharing strong words for the man he believes is responsible for his daughter's death.
But there's two words I really don't say. I hope this dude burn in hell. Because he had no business doing what he did to my daughter.
And a final message to his daughter.
I love you. And you always in my prayers for the rest of your life. And you will never be forgotten. Never.
Frazia leaves a 2-year-old son behind who is currently with family. Now, CMPD has not confirmed an arrest or charges at this time, and they have not confirmed a cause of death as well.
Interesting that the family saying that there is an arrest. The PD's not verified that, but I'm happy that they have arrested someone. They reckon 100 miles from the scene they arrested the man, and that is better news because the other day we just knew that they found her body, but they didn't say anything about anyone who might be involved. We have a photo. Lorenza Thomas Inman Jr. This is the guy here who has been arrested for her death. They're saying the department later confirmed in a statement that it had arrested the 38-year-old, was located in the town of Maxton, roughly 100 miles southeast of Charlotte, outside of Fayetteville. They're saying he's in jail, charged with murder, assault on a female, misdemeanor crime of DV. So they must have known each other somehow. They must have known each other in some way to be charged with the crime of DV related to her death.
Thank you for joining us this evening here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Nick Sturtevant. We start with some breaking news this evening. So I just want to take you back. So we've been following the case of Frazia Baker. She was initially missing. She was last Frazia Baker, 31 years old. She was found dead. Have identified Lorenza, homicide and missing person detectives have identified Lorenza Thomas Inman Jr., 38 years old, as a suspect in this case. And obtained warrants for his arrest. On Friday, Inman was arrested in Maxton, North Carolina. That's in southeastern North Carolina, near Robeson County, or I should say near Lumberton. Now, Inman was brought to the law enforcement center here in Mecklenburg County, where he was interviewed by detectives. And at the conclusion of that interview, Inman was taken into custody by the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office. He's charged with murder, assault on a female, misdemeanor crime of domestic violence. And Frazia Baker's family has been notified of the arrest. Again, Frazia Baker, the victim identified in that missing persons case, and the death investigation on this week.
Well, a very fast turnaround on that. They only found her body a few days ago, and already they have arrested what they think is the perpetrator behind that heinous crime. So glad they've got him. Glad that has been somewhat resolved. We're not waiting and trying to figure out whether, is there someone still out there? They have located him. We'll learn more when he makes it to court. Probably Monday, I would think he will be for an arraignment. So Monday, we'll see if he makes it to court, and I will bring you an update then. By the way, I want to thank Sean for the donation. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Sean. I do. I appreciate it. People have forgotten that we exist, apparently. Sean's the only one who remembers. All right. I'm going to get out of here for the night. I love you all very much. I'll be back for Sunday night tomorrow night. I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow, but we will find something, maybe an update on the shooting at Brown. Actually, if there's some big update on the shooting in Brown, I will come back. I will come back in the next, few hours, or if it happens early in the morning, like 9 a.m., I will come back. All right. I will be back then. You enjoyed it? All right. Lisa, I appreciate it. Lisa too is one of the people who remembers about the channel. I appreciate it, my friend. Gail said, yes, I will. I will. All right. I'm going to get out of here. See you later. Bye.